Hello and welcome to this week's Minecraft video. So in today's video, I'm going to be making a Druid Grove. I've already gone through and plotted out my area, just using wool to make a circle. For reference of where it is, here's what we built last time, the large tree tower. I did a little bit of decorating on the outside of it. I've added some vines and a path with a whole bunch of flowers and bushes and things along the side of it. But now I'm going to be working on the Druid Grove. As you can see, I've cleared my area, I've marked my area out where I want it to be. I'm obviously going to be getting rid of the wool once I have the majority of it built. I just want that as my general border of where everything's going to be. In this chest I have everything I'm going to need to make this Druid Grove. What we're going to start out with is the silverwood saplings because I really would like this grove to be ringed by trees. So if we grab some bone meal, we should be able to grow these trees pretty quickly. Before I grow them, I need to pick which way I want the grove to open and make sure that I don't fill that area in. And I'm thinking probably this side is going to be our opening, just so that it's easy to get to from the tower. So I'll just build that out like that, and that'll be my reminder to not plant trees right there. So now that I've picked my entrance, it's time to start planting the trees around. I believe silverwoods need about a 3x3 space to grow properly. You only need to use one sapling to grow them, but they do take up a lot of space. So we're just going to keep that in mind as we place them. I am getting rid of a lot of the grass and things as I'm placing stuff, but I will go back through and make sure that I put some more back in, just clean it up a little bit, make it look a little bit more natural, but the grass gets in the way of trying to grow the trees, and same with all the other trees that are around here. I need to knock them down for a bit, just so I can get my silverwood in place. I'm very excited to build this Druid Grove. I've been wanting to build one for a long time with these mods because it adds so many really cool magical things. And the first thing I thought of when I saw the magical forests was this would be a perfect spot for a Druid Grove. And I just haven't built one yet. I play D&D quite a bit, and I'm usually always a druid. Currently, I have two characters that aren't druids, but previous to that, my characters were always druids. So it's something that I always think about when I'm building stuff in Minecraft, but never really had the perfect world for it. But with these mods, the magical forest is the perfect place. I have a small list of things that I want to build in this Druid Grove. So I know that I want to put a small little house in here. I want some standing stones in the center. I would like some large mushrooms in it if there's space for them, as well as some little mushroom gardens, flower gardens as well, a little pond, and then obviously the ring of trees was the most important thing for this little grove for me. Now I don't know if I'll be able to fit all of that in this space. I might have to take some of that out of my list, but we're working with a pretty good space here, so I think I should have room for everything. And even if I have to put some things outside the grove, for example the little house, I could have along one of the sides and not actually in the circle, that would be fine, but those are just the things that I thought of when I was trying to put together the list of what I want. My circle of trees is now complete. So, next, I think I could probably get rid of the wool. I don't think I'll need it anymore now that I've got the circle of trees down. It was mostly there as a guide for when I was placing the trees to make sure I got them roughly in a circle, but the interior decorations don't need to be a perfect circle. I've also been getting rid of any of the mossy cobblestone I come across. I don't want just random mossy cobblestone in the circle. I will be using some of the mossy cobblestone and cobblestone for decorations in here, but I want it to be placed on purpose and not just random throughout the area. Okay. So now that the wool is gone, we can see a little bit more how it's going to look. And now I think I'm going to place the standing stones first, just because I think they'll take up the most amount of space around this area. That chest might end up being in the way, but we'll see. I want to make sure that they're circled around the center and probably 4 blocks away from the center. Let me just place these. Well, just generally placing those, I don't think that's enough space. So I'm going to go back another 3 blocks, I think. Okay, I think that's good for the placement. I think I placed this one off center. One of these is off center. Okay, now that these are all placed, I can start building them out. Ideally, they'd be able to be 3 wide. Yeah, I think that still works because my recording stopped. That was very nice of it. But anyway, I'm not sure if it's going to be 2 high or 3 high. I'm going to texture the tops out a little bit as well. But for now, let's see how 2 high. I think we'll have to go 3 high, so yeah, I think 3 high looks much better than just the 2 high. And now I'm just going to go around and texture them a little bit, add in some mossy cobblestone, possibly use some cobblestone slabs or stairs to make them a little more rounded. We'll see how it goes. Alright, time to try and texture the top of these just a little bit. Honestly, just having the slabs really works at rounding them out. I don't think I need the stair blocks. The stair blocks would be a little bit difficult with the corners anyway, so I think just with the slabs is nice. And if I add some mossy cobblestone throughout, I'll do another here, oops, and here. I'm trying not to do the same on each one, but it's a little bit difficult to be fully randomized. Okay, there we go. That actually did a lot to bring some texture into them. I think it's starting to look really good. I don't think I'm going to have anything within the standing stones. I actually want to make a point of there being no grass or anything inside the stones. So I think that's good for now. The next thing I would like to work on, let's do the small house, because with the small house, that's going to dictate where everything else is going. So let me go ahead and grab what I want to use for that. I thought the eucalyptus wood looked really nice along with the holly wood for using for the house. Okay, so now to pick a spot for the house. I don't want it to be directly behind the standing stones. I kind of want you to be able to see it when you walk into the grove. And I'm thinking maybe on this side, because we've got this hill that looks a little bit odd over here. If I put a house in over here, I think it'll help it out a lot. And I do want it to just be a small house. 1, 2, 3, 4. But I think I still want it to be a decent size inside. Maybe 5 wide on the inside would be fine. And I don't want it to be completely square either. But I want to make sure that there's enough room between the front of the house and the standing stones so that it doesn't get in the way. Let's go maybe to there. I think that would be fine. I'm going to bring these pillars up to 4 high and then place my walls in. Maybe I can do a fireplace out the back here. That might be really neat. Let's grab the materials for that really quickly. Let's use the ash bricks added by the forestry mod. I think those would look really cool. And then for the actual fire on the inside, instead of going with real fire, because that could burn everything down, we'll just grab one of the Nitors. Let me think. Because we're in a druid grove, maybe we shouldn't go with red. Let's go with green and see how that ends up looking. Okay, for the meantime, I'll just have it in my inventory while I figure out where this fireplace is going to go. I'm thinking right here. And that, of course, will be outside the house, so we want to make sure that we have some coming on the inside of the house as well. We'll grab these stairs. This will just be the bricks, since that's where the wall is going to be. And maybe bring this out one more as well. Because then I can do brick here, this, and then on the inside we'll do maybe an ash block. Let's look for an ash block. There we go. Do ashes right there, and then we'll grab our little fire here, and maybe a cauldron would look really cool. Let me find one of those. I know I probably am completely missing it. In brewing. So we'll grab the cauldron. You can't really see the fire behind the cauldron though, so maybe... What if we do the cauldron and then the fire? No, I think we'll just do the fire. The cauldron doesn't really fit inside the fireplace. I'll still probably put a cauldron somewhere, but inside the fireplace is not going to work. Anyway, continuing up with the ash block. And possibly putting the stair block on the outside as well. One here, one there. There we go. Just a little fireplace, just to add some interest both to the inside and to the outside. And let's continue placing these walls. Okay, now that the walls are placed, I also punched out 2 spots for windows. I don't know what color glass to use for the windows yet, but at least they're in place. And now it's time to get started on the roof. So, gonna actually get rid of that again. I think I would like the, the pillars here to stick out of the roof a little bit. So maybe I'll bring them up one more. I don't want it to be too cramped inside the house. So maybe we'll go like so. And I think I'm just going to use the Hollywood as a trim along the roof. I don't think I'm going to fill the whole thing in with it, just because that might get a little too busy. Well, busy's not really the right word, but a little too white, I guess. Just okay, and then I'm just gonna work on the front of the house now to get the shape in place. And I think that's it for the exterior of the house. So we have the roof in place, we have the walls in place, we just need a door and some windows. So for the door, I'm either going to use the giant sequoia door or the eucalyptus door. Let's see what looks best. As well as I'm going to put some windows in, and I'm thinking just using the regular glass pane is fine. So there's the eucalyptus door, there's the other one. I think the eucalyptus really does work the best. Put the windows in. Okay, now it's time to decorate the interior. So the first thing I'm going to do is put 2 little stone slabs on either side of the fireplace, like shelves. And I will put a cauldron here. Probably on this side we'll put a bed. First thing I should do first, actually, before I continue to place anything else, is I should probably change this floor from just being grass. Just going to do a plain cobblestone floor, nothing special, nothing too fancy, nothing too complicated, just something simple. And also going to place a bed in here, although now that I'm just using the cobblestone, I don't think the light gray bed is the right choice. Let's put a little pop of color in here. So we'll put a bed along this side, And I want another little shelf here with a flower pot. Let's put a blue orchid. And let's do a couple bookshelves. Another shelf, and then put some carpet down. Just to make it a little more cozy in here. Alright, and I think that's pretty much it. Aside from maybe putting in a brewing stand in the one corner, I think that would look really nice. And we'll fill the cauldron up with water. Brewing stand, add some water in there, and I think that's it for the Druid house. Usually I would put a iron grate here, but because this is a Druid house, I really don't think that there would be an iron grate in front of the fire. So we're just going to leave it as it is. And it is a magical fire anyway, so there's no danger with it. Okay, so now that the little house is built, we can start planning out everything else in the grove. I want to make sure that the gardens are near the house and spreading outward, and then I believe for the little pond we'll put it over here on the other side of the grove. So let me grab all I'll need for the gardens. All the mushrooms, of course, and some flowers. Yes. And I think we'll leave the vines as detailing for the very end for this build. Okay, so for the gardens, I don't want them to be completely uniform. I want them to have a little bit of life to them. So I'll start placing this flower bed block that I found. I thought it looked really cool. It does seem to be changing though, and that doesn't look as great, but maybe we'll just go with the grass. I don't like how that looks once it changes the colors. We'll just get rid of that block. So along this side, I think we're going to do the flower garden, and I think I am going to have fence ringing it in. So let's grab some fence, and let's use the eucalyptus fence if I can find it. Oh, actually, there's these different style fences. I really like those. I think I'll grab those instead. We'll start out from the house, ringing out this way. It doesn't have to be fully closed in. But just the basic shape of the garden plots. There we go, I think that works. So we'll continue placing some more flowers around. I'm going to put the mushrooms away for now. I don't need them right now. I'm just focusing on the flowers. Let's put some of the purple flowers in. Some blue flowers. apologize for any noise in the background. My son is awake from his nap, and he has lots of energy now that he's had his food. I don't like that these flowers keep attracting the fence gates. That's kind of annoying. Okay, I think that's a good little garden. So now on the other side of the house, I'm going to do a similar thing but with mushrooms. Okay, I think that's it for the little mushroom garden. I really love how it looks from further away. It looks so cluttered and so full, but I know the mushrooms are going to spread on the pods all, so I figured I might as well fill every space. That way I got a good assortment of the mushrooms. And with it getting dark, that reminds me I should probably place some torches. Just a few. Again, this world's on peaceful, so it's not like there's any risk of anything spawning in the builds, but I still would like some torches around to add a little bit of light. And I realized to add some more light, I could probably put some of the Natur in each of the standing stones right in the center. I think that'll look really, really neat. If each standing stone has some Natur in it. Yeah, that actually looks really cool. I really like that effect it gives. Okay. So now we have pretty much everything done except for scattering some large mushrooms in this area and building the pond. So let's get to work on the pond. Okay, so there's the shape of our pond. I think that looks really nice so far. And now time to decorate it a little bit. So we're going to add some lily pads in here. We'll add a little bit of the small ones as well. And the teeny tiny ones. And then inside the pond, we'll put some of the algae. And I think we'll actually make the pond light up. So let me grab, if I can find them, the sea lanterns. There we go. And we'll just put a couple in here. I just want it to light up a little bit. There we go. We'll put some of these koru around it. They look like fiddle leaf figs, and I really love how they look. So, put a lot of these around. And I think, I think I'm going to try and put a little fountain somewhere near the pond, maybe on this side. So let's build that out. There we go. It's not anything huge, but I think it adds just a little bit to the pond. And I think that looks really nice. So, about the only thing left is basic detailing. I'm going to add some large mushrooms throughout here. So, let me just empty this inventory again. We'll grab some podzol, we'll grab some of the spotted mushrooms and some of the brown mushrooms, just the regular Minecraft ones. And the other thing I'm going to add throughout the area is some shimmer leaves. So I'm going to go place some of those just randomly throughout this area. I also want to make paths to each of the things, so let's grab a shovel. I'm not going to do any path inside the standing stones. I want that to kind of seem like it's too magical, you know. The stones themselves look worn out, but there's no actual path on the interior. Oops. There we go, the path all the way around. And now that that's in place, I can start putting these huge mushrooms down. There we go. And the last thing I'm going to do is make this entrance a little more purposeful, I suppose. So let's grab some silverwood logs, and we're just going to build up from these trees. So we're going to pick the spot here, and then just build a nice archway between these trees. It's nothing much, it's not anything super complicated or super elaborate, but just something to kind of draw your eye this way and to know that somebody's been working in here with all the plants and the nature. And the very last thing is to connect the Druid Grove to the path that leads to the magical tower. And here we are. I'm just so happy with how this turned out. This entire area looks so cool, exactly as I pictured it. And with that, that's it for this week's video. Again, I love how this turned out. This is exactly how I pictured. Just everything around is beautiful. I love it so much. It's exactly what I wanted out of a Druid Grove. For a little walk through of it, so here we are at the entrance. You come in, and if you go to the right, we have our lovely Druid house with the mushroom garden, the flower garden, so pretty. Continuing along past that, we have a lovely little pond with some lily pads, the mushrooms around, and then, of course, our standing stone circle. No Druid Grove would be complete without its circle of stones. I love the accents of the fire inside the standing stones, and I love the interior of this Druid house. It really is the perfect Druid Grove, at least in my opinion. And then the circle of silverwood trees protecting it, keeping it safe. This area is turning out so cool. I'm very happy with this entire area now. But that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed watching me put together my lovely little Druid Grove, and please subscribe if you want to see what else I'm doing in this world. For next week's video in this series, I think I'm going to set up either the library or possibly the farm. Let me know what you're more interested in. I'm more drawn to the library build, but don't worry, I will get to all of the builds I have planned before this series is out. If you're interested in another series of mine, Kim and I have been doing a survival series with all these mods, so check that one out. It's called Adventure is Calling. But thank you for joining me on this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.